So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time that you are watching this video. I am Richard Taylor, and I'm coming to you with a video I really didn't want to do. I hadn't planned on doing it. And I hope I can get through this video with the same energy and aura that you see right now. You know how you sometimes think about something and you cool with it at first, it don't bother you, but the more and the more you talk about it and think about it, you realize, hey, something's wrong with this situation, right? So this is how I feel about this situation, and it's concerning, as I stated in the title, the Wayne County School Board, or the Board of Education, or the administration, whichever entity that has saw fit to deny my application for volunteer status in the Wayne County Public Schools, namely Carver Heights Elementary's Reading Buddy program. Now, just a little bit of backstory on this. I received a call about Monday, and from a very trusted and reliable source, said, "Hey, Richard, I think this is something that you might want to look at." I received some information from someone who is close to this organization that says that the Wayne County School Board, its officials, have literally changed the volunteer application policy with hopes and with the intentions of preventing me, Richard Taylor, specifically from stepping foot in the schools this upcoming school year. Now, if you have not been to this YouTube channel, for the past month or so, I've been doing several videos concerning a couple of principals in the Wayne County Public Schools, a couple of incidents that's happened there, and some other issues about the grades and some other issues that community citizens have brought to me, and for me to advertise about that. So this person told me, said, "Yeah, Richard, they are pissed off that you are making those videos talking about, the state of affairs in the community, and they don't want you to be in the schools." Nevertheless, I accept that, if that is the personal or if that is the vendetta that has caused this to happen. But a little bit more backstory, right? So, and once again, that comes with the territory, right? So last year, about the same time this year, October, November, somewhere in there, I applied for the Reading Buddy volunteer program in Wayne County Public Schools, namely Carver Heights. Somebody told me about the program. I went to the website, I filled out the application, and I received an email, but also I received a denial letter, something like this. Now you can see that has, my name and everything. It's a very thick letter. I'm going to get to this letter in a minute. But I received that letter, and they told me, yeah, because of your background and the information provided by this credit reporting agency, we're not going to allow you to be a volunteer. And at that time, I did the same thing that I'm doing now, but I wasn't as calm and pleasant as I am today. So I went up there, I kind of raved about it, made a fuss about it, and a lot of people reached out to me in certain capacities, like they did today. And probably about a month or so, I called up there at that time. I don't remember the particular superintendent, but he has since resigned, and that was another one of my issues. How is this man that's resigning going to prevent me from working in the community I live in, but he's going to go on about his business? But that's a whole nother story. Nevertheless, I called up there. I spoke with a couple of people, and they told me the appeals process. I filled out the appeals process, and also a young lady who was my friend at the time, she brought me an application for the Reading Buddy program. Evidently, there was some process that I could fill out through them, and I could be accepted. And that's what happened. The school board actually called me back again, and they told me, well, you'll be able to go out there. So I went. and had a great time. I read with children from 10 to 11, two children, and then from 11 to 12, I had lunch with other children. And when some people didn't have, a lunch buddy, I invited them over with me and my lunch buddy. And the thing was, like, I knew so many of the kids through family and community. Went to school with a lot of the teachers, mentor a lot of the kids even out of school. So it was just like I was a teacher. Like, kids would run up to me in the lunchroom, give me a hug. I'm looking at, like, who's this little kid? Oh, what's up, you guys? Oh, what's up? What's up? So it was just like, it was just like my work in the community, but we were in the school setting. So that year went by fine. Up comes this year. Now, it's September, early September. I fill out the application process. I fill out the background check on the thing on the website that they sent us through the school. The same group, the Reading Buddy program. We went through the whole application process. And about early to mid September, right before school started, or right around the time school started, we had an orientation at the school. So I went. We had some problems, as they stated, with the background portal. A lot of people are having some issues. And so they said, well, we're going to get that fixed. But until then, you guys fill out all the paperwork, the volunteer paperwork, sign all the documents. And, we have a website where you can go to if you're having trouble. So I went to that website and I fixed some things that were not allowing me to be accepted. Because of something about them not able to pull my record. So I did that, got that corrected, got an email, or they told us before we left that day, we're going to be starting on October the 2nd, right? They said we're going to be starting on October the 2nd. And so I was like, okay, all right, so we got about 2 more weeks. But then we get an email or a call or a mass text or something that says, no, this is about a week before October the 2nd. They said we're going to be starting on October the 9th. Now, this is where what the gentleman said to me proves true or alludes to be true, because all of this happened around the same time that he alluded to them deliberately changing the policy to prevent me from volunteering at the school. So here we go. October the 2nd comes, right? They said we're not going to start till October the 9th. So unbeknownst to me, on October the 5th, I get this email, right? And I get this email. I don't check this email until October the 9th, which was Monday, in which I got the call telling me that the school board has changed the policy to prevent you from volunteering. So this is what the email said on October the 5th. It says, "Dear applicant, we want to inform you that you received an automatic denial email from the district in error," which means they automatically denied me, but now they're saying they made a mistake. Now watch the wording of this, however. It said at this time, the district is only considering not selecting you for a volunteer position. How does that sound? We are not going to not select you. We're not going to select you, but we're right now considering not selecting you for a volunteer position. He said this decision is based in whole or in part on the information provided to us by the Consumer Reporting Agency, meaning this big thing right here. This is my criminal background. So this said, however, a final decision has not yet been made regarding your volunteer application, which meaning even as of today, my application is technically still in limbo. And it says a letter with more information as well as a copy of the report, which is this thing right here. This is the letter with more information and the copy of the report, and a summary of your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Agency Act will be mailed to the address provided. To further assist, I have also attached a copy of the Wayne County Board of Education volunteer policy, it includes the guidance and criteria specific to the selection of the school volunteers, as well as what considerations can be or cannot, blah blah blah. Right. So that's not the point. But that is the email I got on October the 5th. This is the letter I just received this week. This is the confirmation of that. But the point is, we were supposed to start on October the 2nd. However, this policy, this new policy, now this is the new policy, right? This is the new policy that has been revised. This new policy was revised at the end of September after the volunteer orientation. And the reasoning that we did not start on October the 2nd was because the board meets that first Monday, which was October the 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And so they wanted them to vote on this policy before we met. Now, the vote was held on October the 2nd. When did I get the denial letter? October the 5th. And this policy, once again, was revised at the end of September. I hope y'all are following me here. But I'm going to read some of the wording that was taken out of the old policy, and I'm going to read. And so the person sent me the old policy. Now, this is the old policy with the revisions that they were making. So I wish y'all can say, I'm going to learn how to share my screen and all that in a while. But I just want y'all to read what was added and taken out in this new policy. That, once again, it was just revised at the end of September, right before they voted on passing this change on October the 2nd. And how do I know? Because once again, I called 3 of the board members, and I'm going to tell you who they were in a minute. And I called really 5, but only 3 of them answered. 2 of them haven't returned my call as of yet. But the changes or the additions to this policy, now what I'm going to read to you was not in the previous policy. What I'm reading to you right now was added on September 29th-ish, I'm going to say, somewhere in there. This says, now this wasn't part of last year's policy. Approval of volunteer application is at the discretion of the Wayne County Public Schools Community Engagement and Student and Family Support Department. That is the department that sent me that email. Said individuals can only be approved as school volunteers for the academic calendar year in which they apply. Now, mind you, this wasn't in there previously, so they're saying you have to reapply each year. Previously, because I applied last year under the old policy, I wouldn't have had to apply again. Think about that. This is in addition. This wasn't here before. And it says, if necessary, the superintendent has the discretion to request criminal background checks on any approved school volunteer during the academic year for which they apply to volunteer through the school's discrete volunteer background check portal. Now it's the school's volunteer background check portal. Now, mind you, that was added, but let me show you what was taken out. This sentence right here was taken out. It's an X to this sentence. Let me read that sentence to you. This sentence says, approval of volunteer application is in the discretion of the Wayne County Public Schools Human Resources Department. Right? This is the Human Resources Department. So it switched from volunteers being approved by the Human Resources Department to this special Wayne County Public Schools Community Engagement and Student and Family Support Department. individuals can only be approved, blah, blah, blah. So, why did they change that authority from the Wayne County Public Schools Human Resources Office to this special department? And shout out to Ken Dirkskin. Now, he is the guy who was over the head of that department. He has returned my emails. He has been very informative about what's going on. As of today, once again, I'm technically not denied. They're just considering not selecting me at the present. And they have 10 business days to finalize that decision, which I'm going to read to you in the email why that sounds so ambiguous, right? But this is a change in policy. Now, this change in policy was once again made at the end of September, voted on by the board in their first of the month in October meeting. And then I was denied under this new policy, which takes the authority out of the Human Resources Department and puts it in the hands of the Special Community Support and Family Engagement Department headed by Ken Dirksen. Now that's one thing that allowed me to believe, and from all intents and purposes, that the person who told me that information, that they're literally changing the policy so that you will not be able to volunteer, it makes me see that it is true. Because they pushed the date back from when we were to start on October the 2nd to October the 9th. Just long enough for them to vote that new policy in, and then I get a denial email or letter on October the 5th, 3 days later. Now, when I got the call about Monday, and I went back to my emails and saw that I was denied. So that is when I decided to call the members of the school board. Who else was I going to call? First, I called the public office administration building on Royal Avenue. I wanted to speak with Mr. Ken Dirksen. He, wasn't in, or he was in, as the secretary stated, but he was not at his desk. So I left him a message. I sent him an email. He didn't reply to the email until yesterday. But then I decided, okay, well, let me call the board members. First one I started with was Mr. Don West. Don West was kind enough to answer the phone. I told him who I was and my dilemma. Hey, I recently volunteered last year for the community reading buddy program. Now I was denied. What is going on? Why was I denied? Do you have any information concerning this? Mr. West said, well, you have to talk to the principal of the school. I kindly informed Mr. West. I said, no, the letter came from the school board, the district. Well, we don't send out any letters. We are, you have to speak with somebody else. I said, you did send out a letter. You got, this letter came from Ken Dirksen. And then I basically asked him, I said, well, you did vote on the new policy change, right? Why was there a policy change? Well, yeah, we did vote on that, but that wasn't, because of us. And he gave me some more kind of, nonsensical information, almost, kind of like, okay, well, this is not my problem, basically. Like his first statement was talk to the principal, which the principal has nothing to do with this. This comes from the school board. So I hung up with him. Next person I called was Craig Fouch, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Craig. We had a nice conversation. I told him the dilemma, and he was like, yeah, you got to talk to Ken Dirksen. I told him, yeah, his voicemail is full. Send him an email. I said, yeah, but he did say, okay, well, yeah, his voicemail shouldn't be full. I'm going to call him and let him know, what the issue is and see if I can find out something for you. I'm like, cool, okay, thank you for your time. I just, I wanted to know. And were you, aware of the policy change? Why was there a policy change? And, if I was allowed to volunteer last year, why not this year? Well, I don't know about that. We're going to have to see. You're going to have to call Ken. He was kind of a fast talker, but I like him, though, because I like fast talkers, and I know how to kind of talk fast, too, and I can kind of dip and dodge and still, get the information that I needed from him. So shout out to Craig Fouch, man. I guess he did what he's supposed to do. Pass the buck, maybe, right? So I tried Mr. Lynn Henderson. Now, Mr. Lynn Henderson, I left a voicemail on his phone, and when I heard his voice, I realized that Mr. Henderson was the same gentleman that was at the school with me every Tuesday last year. We were reading at the same time in the same room with different kids. So I know this gentleman, Mr. Lynn Henderson. And I left a detailed message on his phone detailing who I am, my dilemma, what is going on, why was the policy changed, could you please give me a call back? Today I still haven't heard from him. But that once again lets me know, okay, well, he's on the school board district. If there's anybody who can vouch for my character, my ability to engage with the kids, my respectfulness in that capacity, it would be him, right? Forego all of this, well, we're considering, and, if it is 10 days, then you have to file an appeal, or, why wouldn't, my plea is, Mr. Henderson, step in, let him know, yeah, that's Richard. He did a great job last year. I don't see any problem with him, right? You're a member of the school board. And so I would hope, that Mr. Henderson will be able to speak up for me. I don't know what kind of capacity he has. Then the next I called Mr. Wade Leatham, in which I did not get a response. Next, Miss Patricia Burden, who actually stays in the district right around the corner from me. I called her, left her the same distinct, detailed message. Once again, have not received any word from him. The best person that I talked to, and I'm going to show you this guy, and if you watch my video from last year, I was kind of hard on Mr. Sanders right here because his picture looks kind of mean and, but he was actually the most welcoming, the most understanding, the most empathetic board member to my plight. I almost had to get off the phone with him. I'm like, man, I gotta go. So he was talking about how he volunteers and how he reads, and yeah, that's not right, and you should talk. You should definitely talk to Ken. And yeah, we voted on it, but we didn't draft the policy. I would say, well, who's on the policy committee? Now this is where he unknowingly, once again, gave me some information that was useful. He said, well, yeah, Craig Fouch is on the policy committee. And you mean the Craig Fouch that I talked to, right before I talked to you? I didn't say that, but I was thinking in my mind, oh, well, Mr. Fouch kind of was like, well, yeah, I don't know about the policy change, or we didn't have anything to do with it as the board, but you are on the policy committee. So that kind of struck me, as ambiguous or contradictory on his part. But Mr. Sanders, he really, and he said, well, yeah, we'll check with this person, that person. And so I just left it at that for, excuse me, that day, which was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And so today I wake up to an email. And actually, after I couldn't get in touch with what's my guy named? Ken Dirksen. After I could not get in touch with him, I did end up sending him an email. I sent him an email, and I responded to the initial one from the 5th. Right? And so the one on the 5th, let me see. Okay, yeah. So the one on the 5th, I responded to that yesterday. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, let me go to my search. But me and Ken, we had a few conversations regarding this. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, okay. So this is the response that I sent to him yesterday, right? And this is what I said. I said, I'm writing because I participated in the Reading Buddy and Lunch Buddy program at Carver Heights Elementary. I serve respectfully and diligently, giving 2 hours of my time to 4 students every Tuesday. The children, staff, and administrator all love me, being as I know many of them from working in the community. I'm an author, speaker, radio show host, mentor, mental health counselor, and ordained minister. I have not been in any legal trouble within the past 12 years outside of a speeding ticket. I took 40 children, many of them who attended school, to the Charlotte Hornets game in March of this year. I've also done camping trips, museum trips, and many other activities with children. I am requesting a review of this matter considering my service. I've worked with school board member Lynn Henderson, a name dropped in this initial response. I'm doing my time in the reading program. I'm sure that he can vouch for my character and actions around students. Please let me know what is the appeal process and how I can continue my service to the children in this community, whom I know firsthand definitely need a positive role model such as myself. Thank you in advance, and my number is 919-587-7782 if you like to call me directly. Peace and blessings. And at the end of that email, I added the news article where I was interviewed after me and a couple of other brothers organized the trip for 40 children to go to the Charlotte Hornets game earlier this year. And so, this morning, I finally get a response from him. And this is Mr. Ken Durston. Once again, shout out to Mr. Ken. I don't know, where, once again, you're at in the decision process. And once again, this is kind of ambiguous because if you read this letter, this is his response, right? Thank you for your desire to serve the community in which you live. For your understanding, any school volunteer application that requires a review of charges or convictions is handled on a case-by-case basis. If a school volunteer application is denied, that decision will be based on the criteria outlined in the attached Board of Education policy. Now, mind you, this is the revised education policy. Now, he's throwing that up in my face, right? But even in the policy, I broke all of that down. If you go to my Facebook page, I made a post about it today. I broke all of the statutes and stipulations in that policy, still outlining how I am an exception or I exceed those disqualifiers. Those disqualifiers don't necessarily apply to me, or they deserve special consideration as it is mentioned in the new policy. Nevertheless, he continues in his email. In reviewing the current status of your school volunteer application, it appears that your application has not been denied by the district. As stated in the email below, the district is only considering not selecting you at this time. Now, once again, if you continue to read this email with you, it really kind of doesn't make sense because it says a letter with more information as well as a copy of the report we obtained from the consumer agency, this letter right here, and a summary of your right under the Fair Credit Reporting Act has been emailed to the address you provided, right? And he said, as noted in this official letter sent to you by mail, you have 10 business days. Now, mind you, I was denied on quote unquote considered for not selection. Let me not say denied. Considered for not selection for the volunteer program on October the 4th. So 10 days would be October the 18th, and I was prodded. I was advised by my good friend Elder Mike Best. Said just wait until the 10 days was over, right? But the more we talked, the more I looked at these things, I was like, nah, I can't wait. Once again, and I'm trying to be respectful in this video, and I think I am presenting a fair case. But most of all, I want the public to see what I see behind closed doors. And once again, it just makes great sense that this policy was revised on that day that before that day we were supposed to start, and with the date, the start was pushed back so they can vote on this new policy, which he keep referring to this new policy. But it said, as noted in the official letter sent to you by mail, you have 10 business days to dispute the information contained in the report by contacting the Consumer Reporting Agency if you believe that any of the information contained in the report is inaccurate. Now, once again, if anybody knows me, who has watched me, who has followed me for years, I have been totally transparent about my criminal record. I read this last year. This is just the letter, right? But all of this right here is my criminal record, right? I don't know if you can, and I'm not going to go through it. If you want to know it, you can go through all of my YouTube videos from last year about this time. You'll see it. I'm very transparent. I read through all of those, right? But this big folder here is what he's talking about, the Consumer Reporting Act, or whatever, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And as I told, I don't need to dispute this because I know that's correct, right? So then he goes on and says, if the information in your background check is not disputed, you will receive a follow-up letter in the mail from the school district to inform you that your volunteer application has been denied. So if you look at this in the first sentence, it says we have not denied you, but we're considering not selecting you, right? But if you did not dispute anything in that record, then you'll receive a letter saying that you're being denied. Now, of course, as I sent, and you'll see this email I sent, I said, okay, look, I don't dispute any of this. So let's go ahead and skip the waiting process, talking about you considering not selecting me, and let's go ahead with the appeal process, right? So that's why I say that this letter is ambiguous. It's actually kind of, you're kind of playing with my intelligence because you're saying, oh, we're considering not selecting you. Give us 10 days. And if you don't dispute these charges in 10 days, then you'll receive a letter that your application is being denied. So why don't you just deny me now? I'm not going to dispute these things because they're indisputable. They're true, right? So what kind of information are you going to get from October the 4th until October the 18th that's going to change your mind, right? So that's what I told my friend. I was like, they're going to deny me on the 18th. There is no, it says it right here in the letter. If the information on your background check is not disputed, you'll receive a follow-up letter in the mail from the school district informing you that you have been denied, right? So let's cut to the chase, in which I tell him that in my follow-up email. And once again, I'm very, 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 very respectful. I said, thank you for your response. I fully understand the process. I had to endure this same issue last year. There is no need to dispute the information contained in the Consumer Reporting Agency findings. I've always been transparent about my past. So I do not wish to dispute those charges, but I will be filing a formal appeal to the denial process. I will be doing so in a separate email. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter. Most humbly, Richard Taylor. All right? Very respectful. And I go on to file the appeal, and you can go once again to my Facebook page, and you will see that appeal. You will see everything that I laid out in that appeal, and I tagged every member of the school board. I tagged, matter of fact, let me show you. Let me let y'all know. who I tagged, Miss Yvette Smith Mason, Ken Dirksen, Timmy Harrell, Chris West, Lynn Henderson, Patricia Burdens, Tommy Sanders, Bill Joyner, Carol Artis, Ken Dirksen. I tagged everyone, right? And go to my Facebook page, Richard Taylor, and you can read the whole email that I filed. I hit him with 3 points. First of all, the fact that this criminal record and all of the statutes outlined in this School Board Policy 5105. My charges are, I haven't been in trouble in 12 years. It says here, consideration of charges shall not exceed beyond 7 years. So that, once again, excludes me from disqualification. It also mentions the totality of the criminal record, and I have no sex offenses or anything, only 2 nonviolent drug charges, which, once again, are up for consideration. But once again, as you see now, that they have took that consideration away from the Human Resources Department and put it in the hands of this special committee along with superintendent. So when I sent him along with everybody else the formal appeal, this is the letter. This is Mr. Dirksen's response. Once again, shout out to Mr. Dirksen, because he kept responding to me, and I appreciate that. But this is what he says. Good afternoon. I want to inform you that your letter of appeal has been received. As stated in my previous email, your school volunteer application has not been denied by the district, right? Once again, they're going to use those that ambiguous language that contradicts itself. It says, WCPS, Wayne County Public Schools, is only considering not selecting you at this time. So you haven't been denied. We're only considering denying you. Just say that. Not selecting me is denying me, right? So we're just considering denying you. If your volunteer application is officially now he's saying if, but the previous email says if the information is not disputed, then it will be denied. So I've already told you I'm not going to dispute that. So let's skip the jargon. It's going to be denied according to what you're saying. If your volunteer application is officially denied after the established 10 business day window, you receive a follow-up letter in the mail from the school district. With your letter on file, it is at that time your appeal will be considered by Ms. Superintendent Wishart and a final decision made. Now, once again, I don't want to, I guess, poke the bear beforehand, but I have to address this. Who is Superintendent Wishart? He was not here when I was serving last year. Is he even a member of this community? Does he see me when I'm doing the after-school program in the Grand at Day Point or Green Acres? Does he see me taking the kids to the games? Does he see me taking them on campus trip? Who is he? Or is he doing those things? Has he been into these neighborhoods, Fairview, Seymour, the old projects? Has he been into these neighborhoods working with these kids, right? Who gives him the authority and the power to decide, when a community member such as myself, who already has an established relationship with these children, who is he to take whatever information that is gathered about me, look at it and say, okay, he has the final decision, right? But that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother time. And if it is in your hands, Superintendent Wishart, I would hope you would consider everything that I'm saying and everything that I've done, and make a honest and just decision, not off the as someone told me and someone mentioned in my Facebook post that there may be a personal vendetta against me from the board, from the administration, for all of the videos that I've mentioned criticizing Goldsboro City Schools or Wayne County Public Schools, and which I understand that comes with the territory. Yet and still, I have done nothing from last year to this year that would disqualify me. Nothing on my criminal record has changed. There were no incidents of ill repute at the school. Even one teacher messaged me today. I just asked Miss Lewis, who's over the head of the reading program. I just asked her about you today. Because they used to be like, I look forward to going out there, and I'm sure the kids and the teachers look forward to seeing me out there because it was a joy to me. I went to that school. I read those same books. I read that library. I walked those schools. I played those grounds. I ate that lunch. I even get lunch with them. Like, I love the pizza. I love the little orange pizza. I will get lunch and eat the school lunch because it's a nostalgia to me. It brings me back to my boyish years, and that did me so great last year. But nevertheless, I had to go through this same thing last year. And once again, it was a different superintendent. Now it's a whole different process as we see that they have changed the policy. And in response to this email, which I haven't gotten a response back from him, but I said, okay, once again, thank you for responding. I am only a bit confused by the wording of your statement. Your volunteer application has not been denied by the district. Wayne County Public School is only considering not selecting you at this time. That wording is kind of ambiguous. Are not the district and the Wayne County Public Schools the same entity? If not, please explain. The ultimate question is, why is the district or Wayne County Public Schools or whoever considering not approving my application? Nevertheless, I thank you once again for your response, time, and consideration in this manner. Peace and blessings, right? And that's how the day ended with the email. That was actually 4 hours ago at 2:25. So I'm doing this video once again just to let the public know the things that I have been going through, trying to, I went through this last year, and I'm going through this year once again with all of the double talk and the double speak. Hey, well, you haven't been denied. We're just considering not selecting you. Come on, who are you talking to? It sounds good, right? To the layman, but let's be honest. You clearly said if the information is not disputed, then I will receive a letter of denial in 10 days. Let's skip the 10 days. Let's get the appeal process popping, right? Let's do that. And so I wanted to do this, and I have so much more that I can say, but I won't, because I have faith in God, but also I have faith in, the members of the board, the members of the board that I spoke to, the members of the board that know me, Mr. Lynn Henderson, Mr. Ken Dirksen, who I've talked to with nothing but the utmost respect, even Superintendent Wishart, which I don't know, but all of the people of the community who know me and know my heart for children. I would pray, like, even, people would do, well, we'll sign a petition. No, let's not do that. Let's let these people make the right decision. And if apparently it's going to be denied Wednesday because I don't dispute anything in these, I don't even know how many pages, man. How many pages my criminal record is, man. And I ain't going to read it all like I did last year. They ain't even got them numbered. They ain't even got the pages numbered. I wish I could tell y'all. Wait a minute. Nope. And I ain't going to count them for y'all neither. Now, if y'all want to know each individual charge, you can go back till about this time last year. I think I put the superintendent's face up on the thing last year. And I'm not going to do that this time. I didn't want to do that. I did want to do that, put Superintendent Wishar's picture up there. But since I don't know him and I think this is not in his hands as of yet, so I will give him the utmost respect that is due to a man in his position. But nevertheless, I definitely want the public to be aware that for all intents and purposes, I've been informed that this policy change, and if you want to see the policy, matter of fact, I am going to post that policy either in the Facebook comments, also in the YouTube comments. So I'm going to post that policy, but I'm going to post you the rough draft as it was sent to me of the changes that they made that were specifically, according to a source that works closely with the board, that was specifically designed and drawn up to prevent me from volunteering at the schools. Well, nevertheless, I'm encouraged because this is part of, who you have to be, when speaking truth to power. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the guy said, man, they are pissed off because of the videos that you are doing, exposing some of the happenings in the Goldsboro City School and the condition of the school and the activities of the principals and the actions of the administrators. All of those things have been, I guess, subject for me to incur the wrath of those with the power to prevent me from volunteering. So hopefully this matter will be resolved. Hopefully I won't have to do any more videos about this. And once again, feel free to share it. Once again, my number is 919-587-7782. I don't shy about it. Any one of the board members can call me. Any one of the administrators can call me because, I'm here. I'm here for this community. I'm here for it all, as they say. I'm here for it. Because I've been nothing, but an asset, in my opinion, to that program. And I wish I would have known about it sooner. I remember my mom and dad used to do it, some years ago. That was before I transformed my life. But I've always had a heart for children. And I want to keep them from making the mistakes I did. Matter of fact, let me show you what else. That's right. I forgot to add this right here. Let me show you what they took out as well. They took out something that is very telling because it speaks to me. This is another thing that they took out. This red mark, this is what they marked out right here. The underlined part is what they approved. And I'm gonna put it up as well. It says the review of the applicant's prior criminal history shall be completed by a committee that will include human resources staff in consultation with the superintendent and the board attorney as needed, right? They took all that out. Now it's just in the hand of this special community engagement support service committee with Ken Dirksen, right? This committee will approve or deny an applicant with a prior criminal history based on whether the applicant poses a threat to the safety of students or staff, which I do not, so that's in my favor, and whether the applicant has the ability to serve as a role model for students. They took that out of the criteria too. All right? They took that out of the policy. They're not going to judge it based on, do I pose a threat to the students, or do I have the capacity to be a role model? They took that out. Let's not worry about that. Let's just judge them on this criminal record. Once again, that leads me to believe that the person who told me that they were changing the policy just for me, I don't doubt it. And it came from a credible source. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments, man. Am I hallucinating? Am I delusional? Once again, the policy was changed at the end of September. We were supposed to start on October the 2nd, but they said, no, we're going to start October the 9th, just enough time for the October 2nd school board meeting to vote this new policy in place. I get a denial letter 3 days later. Coincidence? Yeah, you can say that. But according to the information that I've received, it definitely makes sense. So, peace and blessings to everybody who watches this video. I pray nothing but blessings upon you. And if anybody once again want to call me, my number is 919-587-7782. Shout out to all the teachers, principals, administrators, even superintendents and board members who really engage the kids. who really got a heart for the kids. I think a lot of times, a lot of the decision makers making decisions based off numbers and data and statistics. As we see, the statistics are not good anyway. 1 in 5 children are only reading at proficient level. So that while you guys are worried about me or keeping me out of volunteering, I think there's a lot more that need to be addressed in regards to the important issues of Wayne County Public School. But revising the policy to permit someone like myself to engage with the children definitely speaks volume, if that is the case. We'll see on the 18th and the days following that. But I pray y'all have a blessed evening. God bless y'all and good night. Peace and love.